Okay. Hello. Welcome. Greg Adams here. It's 6 o'clock, June 26th, 2024. I'm here in Brooklyn, New York. Welcome to my podcast streams. Going to be talking about the recent video upload, as well as just everything that's been going on. It has been over 2 months since the last stream. Planning my next trip, probably Brazil. It was Brazil. Since then, the major upload has been hiking alone in Brazil. Uploaded that 6 days ago. It's doing okay. It's not doing as well as the Azores video in terms of views. The watch time is definitely low compared to that. But hey, it was an overnight hike. So like a day and a half of content compared to 3 or 4 days of hiking. So usually the more days, the longer the video. And I didn't do guides for either of those. So I'm not sure if that's a good idea or not. How y'all doing? Yeah, round 2. So tried to stream yesterday at the same time. Did some marketing on Instagram, got people to sign up and schedule it. But then I had issues. Wi-Fi was the main culprit. So I've got really fast internet. But it wasn't fast last night. For some reason, if I just let my internet be for long enough, it just gets bad for some reason. So yesterday I was maxing out at like maybe 2 to 3 megabits upload speed. And that's nowhere near enough for 1080p streaming. You need like 5 to 10. So right now I've got 100, so we're good. We have no drop frames. Everything looks good. The computer's great. Should be good. But yeah, it's very stressful to promise people that I'm going to go live and then have it mess up. It's a little embarrassing. It's just not good. It's hard enough for me to do these streams in general to get the motivation. It takes a lot of energy for an introvert like me, but it's something I want to do. And that's why I'm back doing it again. Not going to give up. And it's not necessarily the main flagship content. It's not really the main reason why people would subscribe to my channel. So it takes some extra effort to convince people to care in the first place. So I appreciate y'all being here and listening. The podcast is an old one. I've been doing that for a while, but it's changed its format a bit. I'm not sure if this is the final form of Craig News updates, life updates, the podcast that I've had, but I'm liking it right now. So how y'all doing? Will says just ordered some stuff off Amazon at the moment here in the US before going back to New Zealand. Majority of big items at the start of the gear video, tent, etc. Nice. Yeah, that's good. Hopefully you get the good ones that work and you don't have to change them out for a very long time. That would be ideal, right? Here, let's make this a little bigger and let's make a little more room for that. I think chat should be on top of camera. Okay. Yeah, and I think you're talking about the gear video, right? I just updated the link tree. So made a couple swaps, made sure all the links were good. So all, the main pieces of gear that I recommend are here, as well as some big banner affiliate ads at the bottom. And I think you're talking about the favorite gear video. I do every year, so it's nice to hear. Hey Fabio, how you doing? Congrats on the baby son. Hope he, mom, and you are happy. Thirsty. Thank you. Thank you. Everyone's healthy, and I'm going to be getting to that. I've got my Instagram archive queued up. Ooh, can I go dark mode on this? Switch appearance, dark mode. Excellent. Okay, good job, Instagram, for having a dark mode for web. I think this is an interesting way that I want to like update. So this was the last story from the last stream. So if I just go forward in time from there, I should be able to have some context to talk about things in order. I think the music is a little loud. You got to keep me... It's always better to have the music a little quieter than loud for people listening to the archive after the fact. So we got to be on top of that, people. Got to be on top. Was Brazil sketch at all? No, it wasn't. I'm definitely going to talk about that, but I had my expectations and I came out of that trip like loving Brazil. All the people were nice for sure. Congrats on the baby. Thank you. Your CDMX video, so the Mexico City video, inspired me and then all of my friends to go and follow your itinerary. That's nice to hear, David. Yeah, that video, this one, 5 days in Mexico City, was definitely one of the most like, I'm telling you where to go kind of video. Obviously, it's just go where I went, but I definitely made more of an effort to make it easy to follow in my footsteps as far as any video, any trip I've made. So this is like a travel video, a proper travel video, shot on iPhone. I enjoyed that trip so much. I know Mika enjoyed it. The hike at the end of the trip was wild. Like just like difficult and stressful for me, especially it's tough for me to be on a trip with Mika and then to have her fly home and then me stay, because I just don't want to do that. We did that with Iceland, we did that with Mexico, and I don't really learn. Like, it's not fun for me to have her with me and then be on my own all of a sudden. I just don't want to be in Mexico anymore. So, you know, when I went to hike at this volcano, it was just dry and difficult and lonely. So that might, and I accidentally got the smallest black sun hoodie, so a lot of things weren't going well. And partly because of that, I cut it short. I didn't even go as far as I wanted to, and I think that shows in the video. Like, it could have been its own video, but I put it in just at the end of this travel vlog because I didn't think it had the legs to make its own video. So that kind of tells you right there, you know. But I'm glad you had time to explore Mexico City, especially for me in the New York City when it's winter. It's such a lovely trip to just take a direct flight down to Mexico City and see some green trees. It's very nice. Planning a remote 8-day Kings Canyon trip for late July and desperately need some breakfast inspirations. Man, so many other hikers are actual hikers and have recipe books and advice like that. I feel like a fake hiker. I'm definitely doing the low-hanging fruit. And I used to do longer hikes, but nowadays I'm not really doing many long hikes. Like, it's usually under 3 days. And when it comes to food, I'm taking food that companies send me here and bringing that on the trip, if it's like backpacker meals or something. But I'm usually just grabbing some, I don't know, nuts and fruits. Well, the best inspiration I had for cooking was this hiking 40 miles in Enchanted Valley trip that I went on, because it was with Wildland Trekking, and the two guides that were in charge for our entire group hike were actual guides, like certified, had their shit together. All of the food that they cooked was planned out portion wise. It was delicious. They actually had spices. I don't think I've ever brought spices like on a trip before. And yeah, if you want some food inspiration, I feel like this is, I don't know, like pancakes on trail with chocolate or blueberries is just so good. Yeah. And I will also say that I was treated so well to good cooking on the Peru hike. Where is it? This one, the Cordelia Whitewash. because, you know, we had mules, we had a cook, we had guides who were in charge of food, and wasn't me just trying to, you know, that's kind of funny looking, but that's a good example of like the wild cooking that they did. And I will never forget this pancake breakfast with the, I think, blueberries or some kind of jam berry, peanut butter, honey. Oh, this was, I will never forget this breakfast. Okay, that was a quick little breakfast tangent. Yeah. But Kings Canyon, yeah, I've been looking at that. I can't wait to be able to hike out there. Looks awesome. Hardrock 100 course. Have I considered doing it? What is that? Hardrock 100 course. I'm guessing it's 100 miles? Or no? 100 mile endurance run. Oh, where is this? Silverton, Colorado. So this is probably an event, I'm guessing. Looks wild. Probably beautiful and cool to do, but man, 100 miles would be a lot to do. Okay. Maybe I should just hike this. 100 miles. Ooh, look at that elevation gain. You know, 100 miles road running is nothing compared to this amount of elevation gain and descent. Jeez. Yeah. I don't see myself doing it just willy-nilly. It'd take a lot of incentive from friends or, I don't know, otherwise to get me to go do that. I've got Billy Yang, like an LA-based, like actual runner, YouTuber, athlete who's been trying to get me to do an ultra, which I think is just any distance more than a marathon, maybe. A marathon distance, 26 is the most I've ever done. I've hiked like 40 miles, but running over a marathon seems a bit daunting to me. I do plan on doing a marathon distance trail run on Friday, upstate. But man, yeah, we'll see. It's all about incentives. Like, I've got a lot of options to do a lot of different things. So it just has to be the right time, the right incentives, the right time and reason to do it, you know? But yeah, I'm open to anything. Going to Italy, Lake Como this September. From your experience, is there anything important to keep in mind, preference of yours while traveling to Italy? It's expensive, not as expensive as Switzerland, but when I hike in Italy, I definitely don't shy away from just buying all the food and not worrying about the prices. If you do have to stay in a hotel, definitely more expensive. The breakfasts are usually bigger with buffets, and those are more expensive, I know. But when I hike in Italy, it's all about the culture rather than just, you know, international hikes are about the architecture, the culture, and rather than just the U.S. Like I've seen enough of the U.S. to not really be that inspired by stuff other than nature. So when in Italy, eat the noodles, eat the espressos, get more food than you need, I would say. And like, as much as you can, buy local groceries, like baguette, some meats, some cheeses, you know, whenever possible. Just like, I love eating local food on trail. Avocados in Mexico, Asian dishes. Oh man, yeah, that's what's exciting to me. Do you have any recommendations on getting comfortable while traveling to countries? I get stressed. Man, yeah, I've flown so much. I'm starting to feel a little old. Like it has gotten not as fun to do long stretches with my back. But you'll figure it out. Yeah. Hi to my wife. Shalom. Nice. Hello. Do you have any plans hiking in the Caucasus Mountains, Georgia. So on all trails, I do have my like map of places I want to go. Whenever I get recommendations, I will add it there. I'm sure I have something in that area, but yeah. But I can get bogged down with the recommendations too much. I don't want to go too hard on the recommendations. You mentioned you edit on plane rides home. Does that mean you carry laptop for hikes? I will, yeah, for long trips, I'm definitely going to have my laptop. It's not necessary that I have the laptop. I did not have it for the Azores video, but that was a special case because I carried, so everything that you see in my pack that I'm hiking with, like throughout this video, is everything that I brought with me on the trip. So this was the first time I ever did this. I didn't have any side bag that I left anywhere, which meant that I was a little disgusting clothing wise, and I didn't have the laptop for entertainment or anything like that. I just had to rely on my phone and AirPods, and I couldn't pack the trekking poles for carry-on, and I probably bought all of the food once I got to the location, and camping fuel, obviously. Yeah. But for most hikes, I'm bringing the laptop and leaving it at a hotel. And if I'm doing a loop, I love the loops because you can check into a hotel, get ready, and then leave your bag because you can come back to the same hotel just a number of days later. And I've never had a hotel deny me keeping a bag there. If you're nice and respectful, it usually works. But if you're for sure like have a future booking already booked, a future room already booked, yeah, they're gonna be nice to you and let you leave a bag. Some places have like lockers in Switzerland. Europe is pretty good with the train stations. They have different size lockers, and I think you can look them up online sometimes to see how many there are and what sizes there are. So like for the Grindelwald Switzerland hike, I definitely stashed my bag somewhere at a train station. Is this a drone intro? Yeah, dude, I gotta stop with these drone intros. So just the little things of traveling, learning that you can stash an extra bag somewhere. But like I said, the hotels are totally fine. You can get away with the hotels. Totally good. All right, we'll do a couple more of these questions. I love that you guys care. I mean, like, I could record these updates like I did in the past and then edit them a little tighter, you know, edit out mistakes, add titles and different stuff like that. I could upload them as their own videos on this channel. Like an example of that would be the life updates that I used to do, like this one. So thoughts after Santa Cruz, thoughts after Hornstrandir, thoughts after Choquequira. So it's funny to see the evolution of this type of content for me, because I've been doing this for years, just sitting in front of a camera with a list of thoughts and notes. Basically everything that I would tweet, I just keep private and then read through and explain my thoughts with the chapters. But now I'm streaming because hopefully there's some kind of synergy with having y'all live. But we'll see. I like the idea. I think there's a lot of potential with streaming. So thank you for being here. And you don't have to be here when I'm live. I get that, you know, I'm making the archive. And if you're listening after the fact, give me some feedback. I'd like to know who you are, why you're listening, what I can do more or less of. So this is for me to share my thoughts, but it should also be helpful. There's no reason not to get some feedback. I'm walking and taking my family for a walk too. They can't walk a lot, or even me, but we keep trying. Nice. Hiking Sid. What's up, Elliot? Just got back from the Lake District in England. Highly recommend everything in that area. I was, reflecting on being in, where is it? 100 miles on the West Highland Way in Scotland about this time last year. And it was a nice time. It was flat. It wasn't as adventurous as my normal hikes, but I did enjoy it. And I kind of liked doing big days and trying to put a little more effort into finding creative shots. And I definitely had space and time to drone and think and listen to audiobooks. And it was a very well-maintained trail. So yeah, I'd like to do more stuff in Scotland, Ireland, UK area. Even if it's a long trail. Or even maybe in a section of, I don't know, those super long, religious pilgrimage trails, but we'll see. Like I said, there's just so much to do. It's really hard to lock down where I'm going to spend my time because it's getting more and more valuable as I want to be home doing other things than work. And I'm going to talk about plans for the rest of the year, as well as I'm starting to make some big trip idea plans for 2025. So we'll talk about that as well. Hiking in Asia will be a part of it, yeah. Well, I just want to say thanks for what you do. My wife and I have your long plays on in the background in our living room during the weekends. They are just the most relaxing things. It's nice to hear. Thank you. And I recently had a reel. I think it'll be I'm going to go through the Instagram real quick in a little bit. Yeah. Just did the Lost Coast Trail in Northern California 2 weeks. Yeah, I had reservations to do that, but then I just bailed. I think that was a month or two ago. It's good to hear that it was good. I would love to see a video or any photos or just elaborate on your thoughts if you want to shoot me an Instagram DM or something. I don't know. I was wondering if you shoot in log format. I don't. Also, whether or not landscapes you find it important to use ND. So I don't use ND either. I'm a shy away. I'm a step away from just shooting in auto. I'm shooting manual, but I'm jacking up the shutter speed to set exposure, but also, working with, I don't know. The less I think about the exposure, as long as it's just exposed correctly, I don't care how I get there, I guess. And the extra steps of having filters and ND stuff is just unnecessary for me. It just creates too much friction. I get it. What is it about hiking that keeps you going back? I like the challenge of getting from point A to B efficiently with the most fun. So yeah, I kind of race myself in a bit. I try to do things smoothly and efficiently. But I do like the challenge of getting somewhere. That's why just vacationing with no goal is tough for me. I like vacationing with a goal, a mission. And I like doing it by myself because I don't have to rely on anyone else. If I get into tricky situations, I welcome that. It's a lovely challenge to push myself and get myself out of my comfort zone a bit. And I just love the athletic aspect of hiking. I can go fast and work out while also seeing nature and accomplishing some kind of mission. And when you add on the international exploration, cultural aspect of hiking in Nepal and Switzerland and Iceland and Chile, it just makes it, everything is interesting. The food, the people, the signs, the language, the trees, the different animals. The Kias in New Zealand are worth going to New Zealand all by itself. Yeah. Joel made it. I'm at the airport lounge heading back to Portugal. Oh, nice. Nice. I hope to be back in Portugal at some point, and not just one of the islands. I'd like to go to mainland with Mika and Baby Dean at some point in the future. Hopefully we can hang out again. Arlene, will you go hiking again with Henry Golding or any other actors? Yeah, that would be fun. Still chat with Henry from time to time. And if we're in the same area and have some time, I'm sure we'll hang out again. It would be really fun to hang out with him. But I do have some plans to hike with some other, not movie stars, but other people who have expressed interest in hiking, who have followings. It might be interesting to merge my audience with their audience in some way. Yeah, share my interests with their interests, I guess. Just went to Madeira. Nice. So the Madeira was a huge guide as well. And thank you for using the Airlow discount code. I get those notifications every so often. It's like, I think $3 every time someone uses my code. I've got a lot of credits to use the eSIM. Yeah. Okay, so I hope to go through these. So 2 months ago, my last stream was a test. I hope, my idea was to treat this like a podcast where I can connect with other people. And I used to do so many like interviews with other people, but I feel like it's much easier to do it online than just in person. So I hope to do that more. I talked to Wholesome Simon Kim, who's like a new wave young filmmaker on YouTube with some businesses. And I thought that was really fun. But I just need to figure out like how it works. I have some other people like Alaskan Tapes and some other creators. Definitely some other like hiking creators would be fun to have. I think Alan Sue I talked to. It'd be fun to have him on the podcast, on the stream, just to chat. And I think I'm able to multitask, like have an actual conversation on voice with a person while also pulling up what they're talking about, like their websites and stuff. So I hope to get more people on the show in person. Not necessarily like I could have someone here with me, but I feel like it's just easier online. And if I'm doing a guide for like Brazil, I considered having someone on voice, like on Discord, just to kind of have a conversation with, instead of just me solo ranting, which is what I've normally done for my podcast. It's just like a solo update, me just talking and talking and talking. It might be helpful for the guides, the behind the scenes, to have a person who's acting like an interested hiker, who's interested in going on the trip, so that they can ask the correct questions and help guide me through like everything I want to talk about. I'm going to try to talk about Brazil at some point and then link that to the video if people want more information, but I don't know, it's a little awkward trying to do a guide by yourself. And I used to do those at the end of the hiking videos for a reason. I could edit them. And I probably should still do both. Like I should do a nice, tightly edited hiking guide specific for these trips, but then I can also answer questions here live on stream and link that in some way. I'm still figuring it out. I just got to do it. I got to do both. But then part of me also thinks that like it might be nice just to have these as almost like trailers. See, but there's like so much more story. Like that's the thing I would say about these two recent videos, hiking alone in Brazil and Azores. These are silent, there's drone, there's static, nice Sony shots, but there's no like, there's no actual story being shown. There's so much that happened behind the scenes as far as the logistics and me, the reasons why I made the decisions I did, and just the feelings, like what Like, was it fun? Why did I go? What were my expectations and how did it turn out? I think that is almost more interesting than these moody, long, drawn out, silent videos. But we'll see. I need to experiment and make it still fun for me to do. But yeah, this was so short. Everyone always says that. They're like, it was too short. But it was only a day and a half. It was a quick hike. And I don't know if you can tell, but by the end I was definitely tired. I was sick. I was just done. I was sick and tired. No. Does the novelty, Ian's asking, does the novelty of traveling ever wear off for you since you do it so much? It has definitely changed over the years. And I've talked about this in previous podcasts. It's definitely changed the most when I gained responsibilities and built a home here in Brooklyn with my wife and my dog and now my baby son. That has changed how much I want to travel, making it more of a work and less me trying to escape my problems and be, a millennial, being a nomad, trying to be a YouTube creator and trying to be famous and stuff. Like, that stuff has floated away as I've gained responsibilities and maturity, I would say. And as I see more and more places and have amazing opportunities to see unique things and cultures and places and mountains and valleys, it kind of dulls the whole picture a little bit. I love it. It's great. There's always something new to find. But once you've been to Nepal, the second time isn't as magical. And the third time is not as magical. You can keep going to the same places over again. And it just isn't fresh. It isn't new. So yeah, obviously travel changes for me. And as I try to get more value out of each of these trips, because my time is becoming more valuable, I'm trying to make more money, and I'm treating it more like a job, trying to be efficient with each trip. So whether that's just doing better with the ads and making more money with the ads for each trip, like I try to pair a sponsorship with each of these videos. Sometimes I do both, sometimes I do none. I'm definitely doing more Instagram and TikTok ads than YouTube these days, just because I'm not uploading as much. And over the past 3 years, the huge change has been that I'm just, not uploading as much. So let's just take a quick look at stats. So let's go to analytics. This past month has been pretty standard. The 4 hours of ambient silent hiking and just the other, 3 hours of ambient silent hiking, 3 hours. The super long form videos that I have are just still dominating watch time and providing like good revenue more than usual. Like, the revenue has been insane the past 90 days. And as I showed in the Instagram reel, there was just this moment of insane revenue because of this 4 hours video. So someone said, what was it? I did watch it. Spiffing Brit. Yeah. Spiffing Brit. Someone said that Spiffing Brit made a video about like long form videos and sleep content in general. And it was kind of funny because it's exactly correct. Like, YouTube is kind of pushing videos that are super long form right now. And if you have a video that someone watches when they fall asleep, it's a absolute banger, a real moneymaker. It's insane. And I think that might have been what happened with this 4 hours video. So yeah, at one point it was at 8,000 per day. And then obviously went back down as algorithms do. But ever since then, it's been very, very good still. And I have barely been uploading in general. So this has been a good 90 days. Let's just say that. And then with that came a lot of watch time, a lot of views. So obviously, you know, this isn't normal. It was a moment. But it also kind of taught me the value of making these long form videos. So right now I do have one that I'm almost ready to deploy. It's called 3 hours of ambient hiking with a drone. And before that, I have 2 hours of ambient hiking with a drone. It's actually an hour and a half. So what I'm going to test is, I made this video. It is all of my drone shots from all of the years cut nicely. I color corrected all of it to be matching, because over the years I've changed my style a little bit with how I exposed, contrast, saturation, everything. But I've got all the chapters here, you know, Italy, Iceland, Mexico, Cyprus, Switzerland. There are a couple repeats. Like I've been to Switzerland a couple of times now, Peru, obviously. But yeah. So what I did is I took this video and I doubled it. So that's why there's, you know, 2. And I think I'm going to go with the 3 hour one. I think it's okay that I double it. So we'll see how that goes. Biggest question, I guess, will be title and thumbnail. So I've got a test ready to go. I can't look at it right now, but I've got 3 different thumbnail. It's the tiniest thing. You can't really see. Hopefully you'll see it when it's published, but we'll see. If I can get a good title and thumbnail that people click on, hopefully it'll work as well as this video did. Honestly, you know, all 3 of these videos, absolute crush. This one 6 months ago, 1 million was really good. So I'm learning that these individual trips are great, but the big picture, the long-term vision is to do enough of these to form them into compilation videos that just, you know, just give them new life and serve a different purpose. So I never saw that coming, and it's been interesting to observe that, I guess. Okay, that was a long rant. So let me pay some attention to chat. Cody says, just finished the West Highland Way after being inspired by your video. Amazing. That's awesome. Nothing makes me happier than hearing that people are watching the videos and then doing it themselves, because there's a cross section of my audience that watches it, never goes, watches it, thinks about going, and then people who actually do go. That's awesome. I love that. It's good to hear. Alan Sue makes great content. Yeah. Hopefully we can have him on. I've got a lot of questions. Do you work out, condition for your hikes? The most I do, I make public. I just run. So I walk and run a ton. So Strava is where you can see my runs. Follow me on Strava. I'm always posting. I'm always running. And then if you want to see my hikes, I make it very public, very easy to see what I'm doing, the distances. So, you know, I'm very much out in the open, transparent about these hikes and these runs. So you can follow me on those. Other than that, I don't do anything. I've tried to lift weights. I know it's healthy. I know it's good. There's like a nice gym in down in my building, but it just never works out. I would need to be incentivized differently. I would need a friend close going to the same gym to motivate me to do it. If I had someone to be competitive with, like my brother or a close friend, like egging me on to like work out, I would definitely do it every single day. So the calves are not not genetic, they're practice. Melissa, how much traffic did you find on the trails in Brazil, and what's the most congested hike you've been on? So the Brazil hike was extremely quiet. So I believe I went on a weekday, and this first day I probably saw 2 people going to the water area. So there was a waterfall pretty close. They passed me here and they went to the waterfall, and then I left. That was about it. And then when I got to the campsite, I said hello to maybe, three pairs, and you can see them in their tents right here. I'm gonna talk about this whole trip, but man, I should have just found a different area to sleep. Like, this was the camping area for that campsite, and we were just on top of each other. It was completely unnecessary. Like, I get you want to have a small footprint for nature, but I think there was another clearing where I could have set up my tent, and honestly, no one would have cared. I should have just, like, I could hear snoring and talking the whole night. Got up super early, and then this was like the other time that you could see. So I passed this group who got up a little earlier than me, 1, 2, 3, 4, like a family maybe. Past them, got to the point before them, and then as I was making coffee, they showed up, and then you can see them showing up here. So five people maybe. Other than that, barely anyone. Once I got to the end, it was more of a day hike area. That's the thing, like it was a long range, but there were exits and entries, so people were coming up for day hikes. But as far as backpackers, probably 6, 7 people max. Yeah. And I should have filmed more at the end to just show the vibes, but I think I cut this clip so that there were some people walking around, but yeah. Okay, I'm gonna talk about that fully. I don't want to go all over the place, but yeah, good question. The most congested trail, Angel's Landing in Zion National Park in the US, is a nightmare. If you don't get up early, you'll be waiting in line. That's all the way down here. So Angel's Landing 3 years ago with my brother, that was insane. Italy, Altavia too, there's a lot of people at certain areas, but the backpacking, you can kind of find yourself alone at the passes every so often. But down in the valleys, it's a lot of families, a lot of car campers. Lagvegur Trail in Iceland was a highway for sure. When I went, it was a bit early, so I think I went at a good time. I could totally see like peak summer times, like you're always seeing someone. And the way that this trail was, it was very barren. So there are no trees. So if you almost always see someone. Yeah, to be honest. Like this black sand area, I distinctly remember because there was just, you could just see a dot of hikers in the distance because you could see so far. Yeah, you can see people right here. Yeah, I don't know. That's just a good example. I could go through each trail and talk about amount of people. The Patagonia O and W swarmed, but they also limit the number of people who come in, especially for the W section. So that's not entirely true. Madeira, doing the main Pico to Pico hike right here, absolutely swarmed. But I went early, and I don't know. I try to get away from people. Luckily, overnight Three Fingers Lookout was nobody. I saw one girl who camped somewhere who had a dog who didn't make it up to the hut. So this was the one time I wanted to be alone, and luckily I got that. So that's that. Okay, no more talking about trail congestion. I can just rant. I can just do a commentary for all of these videos and never run out. Like, there's just so much to talk about. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people ask for the silent, moody, static, silent hiking shenanigans, but I just think it's more interesting to know the full story. Like, it involves some talking. I want to do both. And I've talked about this a ton, but I really loved the iPhone era. It started with this Tour de Mont Blanc, iPhone only, iPhone only, iPhone only, iPhone only. And then I think this was the last one I did, and I switched back to Sony. I'm not done with the iPhone only. iPhone only. I think I signed an NDA. I'm not going to talk about it. A certain company asked me to do iPhone only videos at one point, and it almost happened, but it didn't. And hopefully we'll talk to them. I'll talk to them again in the future to do something. So I watch the ambient silent hiking videos every night. Well, it might be you. Thank you for the watch time. I'm from Nepal and haven't been there since 2006. Nice. The Kailash trek. I have not heard of that. I would love the 90-minute videos. You could almost fall asleep without having to worry about it running all night long. Yeah, a lot of Brazilians have been sending me places that I should have gone in Brazil, which is helpful but also funny. It's like, I just went, I did what I could. I probably won't be back, again, incredibly soon. Yeah. But I did mark some new places to go in Brazil. And I think it might be a good early springtime US place to go. Because I need a place to hike and travel and make videos when it's still too cold here in the US and still too snowy. Because I don't want to go to Grand Canyon and Arizona over and over again. I've had enough of Texas. Did I end up doing Cactus to Clouds? So Cactus to Clouds is a grueling staircase of a hike, almost a marathon distance from Palm Springs, hot, up into the mountains above, cold. I almost went when I'm definitely gonna talk about this when I go through my stories. I need to keep doing this. Almost did. The second time I wanted to do it and had to bail because of the baby stuff. So my wife was incredibly due to deliver. So, yeah. So someone sent me casually watching Craig Adams at the pub. Side note, Craig Adams, the tripod I got from you back in Denver, still being put to good use, Keith. So this is something that I get quite often. People sending me videos of my hiking videos being played in pubs, restaurants, hotels, different places around the world. And it's hilarious to see, and also explains the watch time for the long form videos. It's a use that I didn't anticipate for my videos, and it makes me want to not only like keep the raw form videos, but make longer versions of every video that I do so that I can deploy it in compilation form. So especially the drone footage, I should be shooting a ton of and keeping the long shots. And, we'll see when I upload this next 3-hour drone video how that goes. Man, if this pops off, I'm gonna be Ryan Shirley. Ryan has been traveling around. I would love to get him on the pod, or the stream. I need to stop calling it a podcast. He's the king of traveling the world, doing drone shots and making long form videos. And I helped him out with some footage for the Nepal one that he posted, but he doesn't want to share his secrets too much. I understand that. He doesn't do podcasts. He doesn't really do interviews. But we've had some phone calls, and I think this might be a safe place for him to talk about his process and his plans and what's working and what isn't working a little bit. But I do know he has some problems with people copying, which makes total sense because, these videos are great. And he has his side channel too. The ambient relaxation. Okay. Kong. Just finished the Brazil video. Also loved the Henry Golding collab. Any chance to do another collab soon? Yes. I briefly mentioned this. I guess people-wise, I would love to get... So this is where y'all come in a little bit. If I could get some help. A good goal that's attainable, yet still difficult, might be hiking with Phil DeFranco. I know he is a day hiker in LA. I think he's done a little bit of hiking around that area. I met him once in New York for an event. I've talked to him. He doesn't remember me, for sure. But if I could get on his radar and make it super easy for him, like I made it for Henry Golding, I think that would be a super fun collab. Cody Ko has posted 1 or 2 hiking videos with him and his family, so I know he likes it. He's out there doing it. And obviously he has Cody Trains Run Club, so he's doing, you know, Ironmans and out there doing stuff. So I think if I got the opportunity, I could convince him maybe to do some kind of hike that's easy for him near LA. Colin and Samir, I think it's possible to get them on a trip or one or the other. I think that would be fun. And there are some other people that are very near possibilities at the tail end of the summer here. So hike with Kevin Nielsen, yeah. Or Nealon, yeah. He does his little podcast, right? Ever thought of doing a collaboration hike with Hannah? Yeah, good friends with Hannah. I just hung out with her in New York. Maybe that's why you're mentioning. We hung out in Taiwan, hung out in New York the last time she was here years ago. If I go to LA, oh yeah, you can see it here. All right, let's keep moving. Very, very good possibility. Especially in Japan, if I visit, it would be a no-brainer for us to do something like that. Yeah, her and her fiance, really good hikers, really good filmmakers, no-brainer. And they have like a van, a converted van, so of course. 9 weeks ago, Taylor Swift launched her thing. I'm definitely a Swiftie. And I listened to her on hikes a lot. Yeah. I distinctly remember the Transcanalina way back in the day. Super old. Very boring hike in California on the island. Where is it? Yeah, this one. Listen to Taylor Swift this whole. That's just like a little memory I have. So yeah, that. Been starting to get baby stuff. That was wild. Especially like the little baby books and stuff. People donating stuff. I'm so happy being a dad. For a hot second, I was like making memes and posting them. Cody's going through a little bit of controversy right now. Oh, do I even want to know? Here, let me see. I don't know. Is this the downfall? Tanamongo. Oh well. We'll see. Trying to stay out of all of that YouTube drama. I still love his videos. He's awesome. Regardless of whatever. Who cares? Scott, watching your great videos keeps my mind off losing out on an epic trip in Grand Teton due to a work layoff. Gotta watch out for the economics of trips. True, true, true. True. I hope you get back. What hikes do you want to do next? I'm going to talk about that. Mall is doing Dolomites Altavia 4 in 2 weeks. Yeah, I already talked about, I suggest you spend some money and buy the pasta, buy the coffee, buy the pastries, eat. Italy is so good for eating while you hike. But that's fun. Yeah. I had plans to do Altavia 1 in the Dolomites later this year, but I actually had to postpone that to next year because I had another opportunity pop up, which I will talk about. Yeah. Let's see. Creator Camp. I don't have all of the information, but I'm going to be going to this. Creator Camp. I don't even know if there's information. Yeah, there's no information. So in September, we're going to a secret location. I don't even know where. I know the general area. But an annual 3-day retreat. The theme will be creative freedom. And I'll be doing some other like tourism, probably Swiss tourism stuff. We'll see. I don't even know. But I swapped out my Altavia hike for this opportunity. And I got the list of other creators, some of them who are going and I'll be working with. And they're definitely people you know. So that should be very cool. And I don't know how or if I'm making money, but it's definitely more of a networking, cool access and experience type of thing. Whereas the Altavia 1 hike would have been attach a great sponsor. I know it'll do good views compared to the Altavia 2 video that I did, but Altavia is not going anywhere. This creator camp is only happening once, so I felt necessarily in swapping out these two things. But that'll be September. I'm excited about that, even though I don't know what it is. Argentina? I'm sure I have some stuff there. You're inspiring people to getting outside and enjoying the surroundings. There's so much out there. Nice. Go big and hike with PewDiePie. Yeah, that would be the biggest fish to land. Hiking in Japan with PewDiePie would be amazing. I've talked about that. And now that he's doing collaborations with like bouldering people and other Japanese YouTubers. And of course, he's always traveling with like Jack and other people. So it's possible. Small possibility. Very, very small possibility. Damos. Hey Craig, I recall a post where you mentioned that you felt there was still room on YouTube for more hiking content. Do you have an opinion on which type of content specifically? Man, to like recommend what people should do is difficult. I think the best thing that I can do is just provide an example of one path. It's worked. You know, I've had to work for many years to get to the point where I am, but you could definitely follow in my footsteps and avoid some of the pitfalls that I've done. And you can just get to where I've gotten in a similar way, much faster and easier, just because, you know, I've figured out some of the mystery of that. But to like recommend what people should do differently, it's tough. You know, it's almost impossible. That's why I don't do too much education material. I don't feel like it's genuine to recommend what people should do other than just showing everything that you do and why you do it. Like sharing your creative process, being transparent and open, being an open book and kind of sharing all the secrets of why you do what you do, what your expectations were, and what your thought process is on how you pivot to do something new and change and take risks. I think that's the best, honest type of education. That's how I learn from other people. I'm inspired by other people and I watch and consume like their, you know, what their version of this, I guess. Yeah, so that's why I've always kind of done this type of work, because I think it's the most helpful to answer that question and to help people follow in my footsteps, or just kind of learn and replicate the style of trying to make this a job and figuring it out, because I don't know. I'm just figuring it out as I go along. I definitely had no idea that I would be right here, 5 years ago. So it's tough. It's tough. It's a fair take. What would be those mistakes early on? Man, I would say there's just like some it's almost too much to talk about. I've talked about it, but I don't want to just like bullshit it. Yeah, it's like I would have to be lasered in on that. Faroe Islands, yes, I've got that marked. Almost pulled the trigger on a trip 2 years ago, but swapped for something else. So yes, here's me talking to Hannah. Confirmed we look similar. So this was when I first kind of doxed that I was visiting Brazil. And it's good for me to mention where I'm going ahead of time, because Instagram works almost as like a research company, telling me what I should do, giving me recommendations for food and coffee, views, and the opinion of like, should I do this traverse hike here? And, it's always good. And I considered hiring a filmmaker to help shoot a travel vlog. And I definitely regret asking, because I got some people, and I definitely kind of interviewed a few people for the job. But it turned out to just like be way too overwhelming. And I'm glad that I didn't actually pull the trigger on hiring someone, because I planned on making a whole Rio video. That would be more travel vlog. Let me see. Do I still have my notes for that? So these were the notes that I wrote for... Ooh, can we go dark mode? I think I have a widget. Invert. Yeah, that's good. All right. So whenever I travel somewhere, the first head of the notes is always like currency, so I can get that like into my brain. So then I make a itinerary. For this trip, I had a lot of day hikes planned, so I planned those out. I also had a list of foods that I wanted to like try. I had like scripted a little bit, like bonus points if I'm able to find good gifts for my son and wife. I don't know. It really helps me to have someone to talk to. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what I was thinking. Chaos. And then this is just the description for the hiking video. So yeah, for this trip, I planned on doing 2 videos, but I ended up just doing 1. And that video, I even did kind of half-ass. And I have a couple stories. Do I show it? Okay, so I had this plan. It didn't work out. I landed in Brazil, and it was exceptionally hot, way hotter than it was supposed to be. I know Brazil can get very hot. So this year, I don't know if this is real or not. Probably not. I don't know. It gets hot in Brazil. I know that. And it was exceptionally hot there. So it was just almost impossible to film and walk around with gear in general. So I'm just glad I didn't have anyone else with me, because it just would have been a sweaty, frantic mess. Spending the next few days getting sunburnt in Brazil was the first post I made. Everyone's at the beach. One good thing that happened was immediately out of the taxi, at my hotel, I see this little guy. I can't say that, but this is a little marmoset. And it's tiny and has this long tail and it's adorable. So that put me in a good mood, at least. And then most anywhere in the city, obviously you can see this giant statue. But from what I learned, it's kind of a touristy nightmare once you get up there. I probably should have done it. Like, why not? I should have done it at least once. I regret this giant statue to Jesus. And from where I was staying, it was really cool. I chose it because it was quiet and safe and touristy, kind of off to the side. But you could see where I would be hiking from the water. So this range, it was so nice. It was such a clear day. It put me in a good mood to be able to see that. So as you can tell, I was trying to put myself in a good mood because I was feeling a little defeated about not being able to just like shoot 2 videos. I brought the Sony and the tripod and a wireless mic, and I had this whole plan to walk around and shoot everything that I was doing and try to make a travel vlog in Rio, but it did not turn out. I started to shoot a little bit of stuff in iPhone, but then I ended up just going back to vertical to do Instagram stories like this. In hindsight, if I'm doing any city travel stuff, I should just do iPhone, because the ease and comfort of it and like getting the context of me traveling, like the good and the bad, is what's important. So I'm learning like that iPhone has a time and a place, and the Sony with the tripod has a time and a place. So it was chaos. It was hot, sweaty chaos, and I was a little down in the dumps. So I was trying to find ways to feel better. Like it says 86 right here, but it was like early morning or whatever. Continuing the trend of trying to cheer myself up while traveling by myself in a hot place where I didn't speak the language, Portuguese. I went to this amazing steakhouse, a Brazilian steakhouse. It's a thing. It's like endless, all you can eat. And it's expensive for Brazil. I think it was like maybe $50 with drinks and steak for me, which is nothing. You know, I spend that on lunch in New York. It was a little silly for me to be there by myself because it's kind of fancy. And I'm just like rocking around in hiking attire. Yeah. That's a sagui. Sagwai? I can't speak the language. Do I prefer hot or cold hikes? I prefer cold hikes. I'm going to be honest. Jungle and hot, it just doesn't go well with me. Yeah. You do the same thing with the currency benchmarks and travel notes? Nice. Christo's always overcrowded for sure. Yeah. iPhone is like BTS content. Yeah. In the good light, it can look pretty good, but for city travel stuff, it's all about context. It's all about just like getting the moment wide, exposed, not having to expose, not having to set audio levels, just getting the moment, you know. And it's smooth. It's very smooth, stabilized. And by myself, it's super awkward with the big camera in cities. Part of why the big camera and the tripod works when I'm hiking is because there's no one out there. You know, it's not embarrassing. I don't stand out. There's no one to stand out to. But when I'm in the city and setting up shots and like walking around, it's just like awkward. And yeah, the iPhone, it's kind of incognito. It's quick. It's easy. It's great in the right context. Calculating how to avoid the crowds, but sunset seems the way. Yeah, there were a lot of people, and I didn't want to feel like a tourist. But yeah, I don't know. This happens. Like I get way more bummed out than people realize when I travel. I get lonely. I get overstimulated. Whenever I spend time in the cities before I go out to do the hike, it sucks. I'm miserable if I have 1, 2, 3 days in busy cities before I get off into nature and peace and quiet in the farmlands. Happens every time, and I never learn. The best trips are when I fly into a major city and then get out of there and go straight to the hike. Yeah, because I just like miss my wife. I feel awkward. I don't it's the awkward beginning phase of making a video where you're trying your best, but you don't have any footage. So you don't know if the video project is going to work out. You know what I mean? At the end of my trips, at the end of my hikes, I've shot it all. I know it's going to be fine. I know I have the footage. I know I got this beautiful shot, that beautiful shot. I have an idea of what the edit is going to look like. But at the beginning of all of these trips, I am kind of a nervous wreck. Like second guessing myself and just, I don't know, homesick, I guess. And I think it would be kind of funny to include that in the story. But you can't really do that too well with the static tripod stuff. It's more of like a, I don't know, it's just different. Ucha or URCA. See, I know how to read, but I don't know the Portuguese enunciation of words. But yeah, you're correct. That is where I stayed. I think real quick, let me pull open Google. Don't want to dox where I live right now. But yeah, I can show you the spots. So green is where I hope to go. Red is confirmed good. But from my research, I figured this area of Urcha, I don't know, Ucha, probably Ucha. I'm gonna go with Ucha. Would be nice because it's kind of a dead end, touristy, nice, Sugarloaf Mountain. Seems safe and chill and walking, and like has the nice little promenade with the beaches. So I liked it here. And I walked and biked all over. I walked to the steakhouse here. I went to Sugarloaf Mountain. I did this little hike along Sugarloaf a bunch of times. I took Ubers. Ubers was pretty great for the beach here. And one of my favorite areas was Leblon. I don't know. Walking this at night. Yeah. And then this lake was pretty cool, obviously with the view of the statue here. Is there a 3D on Google? No. Yeah, I could show it on All Trails, which I will do at some point. The city is cool. It's a really unique place. I really liked it. I'm starting to get... I can fix that. Almost. Whatever, I'm trying to fix my green screen. I don't know why I do the green screen. It's not quite necessary. Like a little box is fine. I don't need this extra little cutout thing. Like I don't need to like throw I don't need to like be in the water over here. It's fine. Urca. Okay. Jungle and hot doesn't go well with anybody. Yes, you're correct. Why were you feeling not great in general? Because of the temperature and humidity? Yeah, I talked about it. Being homesick, not knowing if I'm wasting my money and time on a project that isn't working. And it kind of didn't work out. Like I said, the travel aspect of the first video didn't work out, so I just kind of took that drone footage and put it at the beginning of the Brazil video. So yeah, some things weren't going right, and it was just way too hot. Like the temperature was unavoidable. Absolutely. Yeah. It's nice to hear that. I don't like traveling to cities but love nature. Somehow you became a big YouTuber. Why not do 2 formats, one silent and one chatting about it? Yeah, that's kind of what this is. And I go back and forth on whether I want to do like a nicely outlined, shot, recorded, and edited tighter guide like I have done for dozens of videos in the past at the end of the Brazil video. So, you know, for all of these. So I go to Colombia, I do my silent hiking video, but then the second half is, well, not second half, but the tail end is a behind the scenes in some way with maps and stuff, Craig News. This stream, my hope is to do all of that content on stream. And there's possibilities of cutting out like the actual Brazil stuff that I talk about and uploading that. But I don't know. There's too much to do. Too many options. I'm always changing my mind for a reason. There's just too much to do. Gives Italy vibes. Yes. I thought similar. My Sony ever overheat? No. From Rio. Nice. It's nice to see others work and talking about it. Relearning photography and still lost in here. Nice. Yeah, Rio is way cooler than I anticipated. Especially because of these rocks. Like you can see the giant rocks, but for most of these you can hike to the top and a lot of elevation gain, but such amazing unique views. I think Rio is probably really, really good for rock climbers. I expect so. But the number of amazing day hikes and beaches that you can just get to easily from the city centers is amazing. And I definitely do want to go back to Rio because there's more to hang out, people to see, things to do, things to eat, architecture, as well as just other places in Brazil. But I mentioned that. Places in Brazil. So I should have this open because I do reference it all of the time. It should be public. You should be able to access this on my All Trails. If there's a link. Yeah, is there a link? I don't know. Maybe. I should put a link somewhere. But these are all the trails I hope to do in the future. I've been adding a couple of the Brazil ones, but... So this national park, people have been sounding off about this nonstop, and it does look cool. I did a little bit of research for that. That looks cool. There's the like sand dunes up here. I think there's like waterfalls here. It's closer to the Amazon a little bit. Ooh, is this French? No, Italian. I can't even say these words. This national park looks amazing. And that's not too far from Sao Paulo. No, I'd fly into Rio for this probably. And then I actually found this like coastal loop that would require some kind of boat, but it's like a lot of beach. And then there's this random, where is it? This random little town over here. I mean, this is a little bit of a tangent, but I can research hikes all day with the 3D satellite view. So this is definitely rich people. Let me see if this is a better view. Where is it? It's right here. So this looks like a retreat for rich people. And you just like hike right by it. I don't know where I saw it, but there were like yachts galore. No, this is it. Okay. This looks like something out of Lost. This looks like such a like secluded little rich person yacht vibe. And the hike would just go kind of, like around this whole area. This looks super chill and weird. I've never heard of this before. It'd be super easy, extremely cheap. Fly into Rio, drive down there, or take a boat. I don't know. No, I don't think there's any YouTube videos, at least American, doing this. It's not that exciting with the beach flatness, but it's still, it's not quite 40. But that seems kind of interesting. I don't know if the temperature is good, if it's the right weather. I don't know. Yeah, I get lost researching because there's just so much to discover. Such a weird balance of going to beautiful places that are confirmed good, but then also kind of finding the places off to the side that are almost as beautiful, but no one knows about. I don't have it marked. I don't know why I don't have it marked, but the tallest peak in Iceland is like over here. No, it's like right here. I don't want to do that. But like, I haven't heard of anyone summiting the highest peak in Iceland. Okay, I'm going on a tangent. We need to dial it in. Okay. Did you do the Two Brothers hike? I don't know what that is. How are you? Justin's asking, how are you feeling about traveling now that you have a newborn? It's going to be more difficult. It's more difficult to do everything when you gain responsibilities. But here, let's brain up me a little bit. It's going to be a challenge to travel in general. We're definitely going to do it. Growing up, I did a lot of road trips around upstate New York. But I hope that my son is going to be more worldly than I grew up. I hope to, give that to him. We'll just have to figure it out, man. I don't know. He's got his first international flight coming up in September. We've got our first road trip coming up soon. He's going to do like a little tiny baby day hike, little like walk in a couple weeks, like maybe a month or two. Just figuring it out. You might be able to hear him. He's crying right now. Thank you so much, my beautiful, amazing wife, for taking care of baby Dean while I do this. And Sasha as well. She's got them all wrangled in the bedroom. If you had to buy all the same gear, would you opt for the same setup? I'd probably go iPhone only. I would start and never change. I kind of want to go back to iPhone only. I very well could. And just everyone who complains about like not having the Sony quality anymore, they just go away eventually. And I would be happy. Because they would be so much easier to film. The whole process would just be tremendously simplified. And I think I would, by having my camera with me all the time, it would change everything. There's just so much good that can come from it. And I would just get better at making the images look better, Like I can put effort into getting better image quality, I guess. What worries you the most when you travel alone? Things like snake biting or choking? I'm a big fan from Turkey. The Elysian Way. Yeah, I've definitely researched that and want to do it. I think that is high on my priority to hike in Turkey for sure. But as far as things I'm worried about, I guess I just haven't had too many like weird animal or like injuries, anything like that, like getting lost or animals. That just never has happened to me, so it's not that much of a worry. What I stress out about is just the video. Like, am I wasting my time and money? Am I making something that no one's going to care about? That stress and anxiety is probably the most detrimental thing to me when I'm traveling, being lonely, feeling like I'm wasting my time, having FOMO in some sense, trying to be efficient, like overly efficient with how I travel. Yeah, can be a little overwhelming sometimes. That's why I like to just get on track on the trail. I have a single point, a mission, and I just follow the path. And it simplifies, puts me into a flow state a little bit. I start to feel better and better with the shots that I'm getting. Yeah. It's not always perfect. Okay. A lot of mountains. Yes, all the Brazilians are giving me the recommendations. I love it. I will be back at some point. I gotta skip all of that though, because I can get bogged down adding new trails to the all trails. That's just like a different stream. Norway, yeah, I've got plans. Upstate mentioned, nice. Gotta start them early. Log on the iPhone. Osmo Pocket. I just like the iPhone better. Honestly, it's as smooth. I can be as smooth with the iPhone compared to the Osmo. Yeah. iPhone only could work well if you spoke. Anything is possible. People think that, like, I could show you a million creators who are shooting iPhone only and not talking, and it's fine. Like, it's just, I love feedback, and I think people have opinions, and people will stop watching if they don't think my videos are worth it or not. That's all totally fine, but it's completely, I just don't think I should worry about it. Old Craig would definitely stress about that way more, and I definitely still did. And you can see it a bit with the iPhone going back and forth, flip-flopping, the stress with that. But I'm starting to learn that I just need to do what I want to do. And if you keep doing it long enough, the people who don't like it leave. And the people who do like it stay. And then things get easier, but you just have to stay in. So, you know, time in the market is always and forever the most important thing. Absolutely. Average flight costs? Yeah. It can be tough. Okay. So this was an excellent 3-hour day hike. Anyone in Rio, I think, should do this. If I pull up the Brazil video, it should be easy to get to the all trails in the description. Yes, easy. So this was lovely. It was extremely hot because it was a heat wave and jungly or tropical. I don't know what you call this climate. But yeah, all trails and Strava are just the best. You can just get so much information out of one single thing. Anyone hoping to do something similar, learn about it. It's got photos, the locations of the photos. It's got my time, my pace, where I start and end. The 3D map. I just took an Uber over here, out and back. So cool. And lots of Brazilian subscribers saying hello. Yeah, I muted it, but this guy I was shooting this video and then the guy was like yelling at me, Craig Adams. So it's always funny. I might stand out as being this pale and in the sun hoodie. I didn't see anyone, barely. Oh man, the sun protection in Brazil was wild. Like, people getting sunburned left and right. So I definitely looked a little out of place with the sun hoodie on, but hey, gotta protect myself. Got to see monkeys eating jackfruit, which was excellent. Makes any hike better when you can see wildlife. Not as many dogs in this video. I think someone commented that, but it's true. Guides were offering people blaze down the difficult section for $9, which is cool. And that one subscriber was a guide who offered me to do this for free when I came back, but I think I went too quick for him with his group, but that's okay. Thank you for the offer. And then this was the absolute major key for this day hike. Down here, I did a little bit of research on Google and found a cafe right here at the start and got my Uber ride to and from there. And it was the perfect place to start early in the morning and after my hike when I was hot and tired, because they had air conditioning, coffee, and amazing breakfast, and the cinnamon bun. So almost worth it to go out there just for this place, as well as to do this hike. So nothing better than pairing a beautiful hike with an excellent cafe. Boom. After that, I still had some of the day left, so I took an Uber to Epima. I'm so terrible at these. This beach. And it was sunset. And these massive beaches are so interesting because I was trying to imagine Manhattan with beaches like this. It's just almost endless. There's so much going on and people, and they shut down this side of the road for people to walk, and just endless bikes and dogs, and nobody, like everyone just like shirtless, shoeless. Just the beach vibes were immaculate. I'm a lake guy. I'm a snow guy. I'm not really like a hot, I don't like the beach. I don't like the hot. So it's always funny to see, but wow. Yeah, Rio is crazy. The weekends were insane. And the drone shots that I did, I think I've got the drone shots somewhere here, were of the weekday. And I regret not shooting more drone shots on the weekend because the amount of people really changes the shot. It was insane. So many people out and about, like playing volleyball and soccer volleyball. Yeah, drinking, eating, music, vibrant life. Urca. That's a good way to look at it. It's kind of like raising your prices. Some customers will leave you, but you'll surely get new ones who are okay with it. Yes. Because it's the opposite. If you just continue to appease what you think people want, it may work, but it'll work less and less. So eventually the cost will be too high and the value will drop. So, you know, you want things to always be getting better. What about using lens mods for the iPhone and making it a bit more professional look? I think the iPhone I have looks great. I think it's more about context and less about quality. If you just have good looking footage that has no reason to it and no pacing in the edit or just contextual value, like there's no reason for it, it's just trash. Like I just don't care about that. I'm much more interested in story, reason, process. I love process, showing people do things rather than telling. And I think you can do that and tell a good story even if it doesn't look that great because you understand what's going on. But if you can get both, that's amazing. And I think you can do that with iPhone. It's just way harder with a big camera with a tripod to get the context, to get the moment when it happens, to feel comfortable and to shoot things without them feeling weird. When it takes a time and you have to expose and set focus and, you know, people know that you're filming them and you feel dumb doing a selfie. Yeah. So I'd rather go in the opposite direction. I used to be way more into the gear and the visuals, and now I'm kind of reversing to the opposite. Did you need to get yellow fever shot before boarding? Mosquitoes because of the heat wave? I didn't see any mosquitoes. I don't know. I did a little bit of research, but I didn't see anything from the US Embassy saying that I needed to get shots, so I didn't get anything. I think if you're going more to the Amazon, it might be different, but for Rio proper, I felt pretty safe with no vaccines or anything. South of Brazil next time. That's how you end up with Marvel movies. Melissa, how much are you thinking about the final video during your hikes? At the beginning, I'm all about documenting, but as time goes by and my flow is set, I forget to take out the camera. Yeah, I get that. And there's also the thing that you have in your mind the library of shots that you've already got. So that happens especially when hiking, because there's a lot of similar shots that you could get. If you just always pulled the camera out every 15 minutes and got a shot, you get a lot of redundant shots. So I try to slow down at the beginning when I'm shooting, because I'm always shooting way more at the beginning than the end because I don't need the shots anymore. But if I see there's just like different types of shots, like maybe collecting water and putting it into my Be Free bottle is like a thing that I do many times per day. But if I shot myself doing that every single time, it wouldn't really advance the story. It'd be redundant. So I can shoot all of them and pick the best looking one. If it's all the same context, whatever the best visual is, I'll pick that one. But if I get an early, on the first day of a 5-day hike, I get a shot of me filtering water, the context is there and it also is good lighting, and I shoot it in a nice way, I just know that I don't have to do it again. So in that sense, yeah, I'm shooting less. And that's a choice. So I think that goes along with what you're saying. But as far as like forgetting to just shoot and more so go with the flow, yeah, I also get that. Specifically for me, there will be moments when I kind of just want to keep it to myself and I choose not to shoot it. That's like the Walter Mitty snow leopard moment, right? Good question though. Hey Taryn. Miss you, bud. Hey Craig, I got you. Yeah, the videos you shot on iPhone were great in my opinion. Shia LaBeouf voice, just do it. Yeah. We need to go on another group hike together. Thanks. Thanks. Now David, we're talking about iPhone and just my thoughts between going back and forth between that stuff. Yeah. So people recommended that I got a Cipriana drink. It was good. I liked it. This steak and other foods was also delicious. Good recommendation for that place as well. Plants in Brazil were great. Everywhere. That's what I'm saying. Like in the US, I've seen everything. So I wouldn't necessarily shoot flowers as much. But in Brazil, the flowers are wild. So I'm shooting flowers. Starts good, ends bad. Tourists. So I went up on that cable car mountain, Sugarloaf, but picked the wrong day. Fog rolled in right when I got up there. I hiked up. Much nicer hiking up than taking the cable car, in my opinion. But I got some ice cream and got that shot of the little marmoset, so worth it. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I brought a filmmaker, how do I go back? Okay. Yeah, if I like brought a filmmaker to shoot me, like Anthony Bourdain style, going up here to do this, like it would have been so silly. Like it just would have been no view. I would have just been walking around looking at the marmosets. There would have been tourists everywhere. and then I would have gotten ice cream and then hiked back. Like, what's the story there? You know, like, it would have been awkward. It would have made me so uncomfortable. But if I'm traveling by myself and just shooting Instagram stories, it's kind of chill. Like, I'm just going at my own speed, doing Craig things. I just don't need the extra added stress of having the responsibility of another person spending their time and money. So this is an example of the weekday beach. Not as impressive. Shot on the DJI Mini 3 Pro. I think there's a new one that's better. I'm still waiting for that DJI summer update. I would like to get a new drone. I think I'm ready. Yeah, I think I want a little more quality for the drone. But the drone batteries have gotten so good, man. Back in the day, bringing out like, what was it? Just the big quad ones, you know what I mean? The big handlebar plastic ones. Yeah, dude, what a trip. Washington do be beautiful. Kind of hoping to jump down to Peru this summer, but Brazil's looking like a vibe for sure. Yeah, for sure do Brazil. But Peru, cheap, easy, lots to do. Yeah, I would do Peru if you haven't been. Yeah. How was your navigation in the trail? Did you feel bushwhack? Yeah, I have a little bit of context for that coming up, so that's a good question. So I took... No, I didn't go up there. I went to the lower one. I just hiked up like... So that was good. Okay, we're going this way. Hold on. Okay, so I finally made it to the main hike. Let's pull that up. How did I get there? Why did I go? What is this hike that I did? Brazilians made it, put this on my radar. I liked that it was close to Rio. I liked that it was possible to hike when it was too cold here in the US. So I pulled the trigger. So I left my hotel. I drove in an Uber up to Centro. I stopped in at a hiking store to get some camping fuel and some snacks. And then I hopped in another Uber and went up to this airport island where there's a hotel where I booked the night before I flew out. So after the hike. So I dropped off a duffel bag here and then hopped in another Uber, which took me on a very long drive up to Bonfim. So I think this was an hour and a half maybe, which was a very long drive. I could have stopped in this city, but I didn't want to. It didn't look that fun. There's like these little hills, but it kind of looks like a wild, chaotic city. I didn't really see like a good touristy area. Like there's this little canal, I think, but I just wanted to get to the trailhead and start the hike. So the Uber was kind of hilarious because he didn't speak English. He just spoke Portuguese, but he did have music. So he put on Red Hot Chili Peppers, and that's what we listened to. We listened to Red Hot Chili Peppers and Maroon 5. And we were just like vibing it. We're like, yeah, Red Hot Chili Peppers. And he's like, yes. We were like, that was our communication. So he dropped me off. It was kind of a wild ride to get zigzagging up to this spot. And I think he felt a little uncomfortable going this deep into the mountains away from like the main road. But I was like, it's okay, like a little bit further. I definitely tipped him extra because Uber takes a ridiculous profit margin for Brazilian drivers. So I think we might have actually turned off Uber and I just paid him cash. so that he just wouldn't lose a cut or something. I don't know. We figured it out with Google Translate as he was driving, which is stressful, you know. But hey, we did it. We made it work. So I got a quick bite at a, where is it? I do want to show this because it is kind of fun. This guy dropped me off. The man. Went to this restaurant. It was like the only restaurant that I found in the trailhead area, and they weren't open yet. They were opening soon, but I was still hungry, and they were very, very nice and gave me all of this for free. Like they were preparing for the breakfast or whatever they're doing, but he's like, yeah, I can cook you some food, and here, have this beer. So some people caught on to this, but yeah, I was drinking beer at like 8 a.m. I didn't care. It's calories. Who cares? But the eggs were perfect. It's always good to get some kind of hot meal before you go off into the unknown. And there was a duck and cats. So it was a silly little space to start. But I walked up to the like entrance, the ticket agent. There's like people with guns here. And I did paperwork. I guess I could go into that, but I actually had a Brazilian help me out on email and make sure that I had all my paperwork ahead of time. I definitely over-prepared. I think I could have done everything in person there, but yeah. So I had like it printed out. I filled out the form for like where I was going. I'm by myself. All that stuff, but they made me fill it out anyway right here. They asked and made sure that I had like sleeping bag, but I actually didn't. I actually secretly didn't bring a sleeping bag because it was so hot and I didn't need it, which I don't recommend anyone to do. You should always have a sleeping bag because it could be colder than you think. But I knew temperature wise, I knew the elevation, I knew the weather forecast. Yeah, it's dumb to not have like a backup like that, but I was fine. And I knew there was a hut there too, so maybe I shouldn't be saying this. I was fine. And there was like a shower there. It was interesting. I don't know. But the first hour of hiking was not that entertaining. It was extremely hot. It was slightly uphill, so at least it wasn't that bad, but it was dense. It was direct sunlight coming through the trees, so it just doesn't look that good for camera. And I was just sweating profusely. Not seeing anyone else on trail, just kind of second guessing like why I'm out here doing this. And then I hit the water. This water was so nice. I definitely took a nice little break here, and yeah, awesome. The water was good. The water was like right here. The waterfall was here. The waterfall was nothing special, even though it's like more like why people go here, but the little water that I went in was perfect. Went up, did a drone shot here. And I started early, but I had the entire day to do this short 7-mile, 4,000 feet gain half day. So I was in no rush. I was definitely taking my sweet ass time. And by the time I hit this ridge, it got pretty windy. The tone shifted up here. And, I took my time in the water. I took my time up here. By the time I reached up here, sunset was coming, which was surprising. Because 7-mile day, it's not much. Usually I'm trying to do 10 by 2 o'clock. 10 miles by 2 o'clock, yeah. So I was kind of rushing to do these drone shots and to get shots with the sunlight still hitting this area in general. But these rocks were so cool. Extremely big rocks are cool, man. What can I say? And the light was pretty fantastic. It's probably 6, 7, 8, 9 people up there. Like maybe 3 or 4 groups. I like this shot because of the mountains in the background. This, I don't know what this is. This must be like another national park or something, but I need to figure out what this range is because that looks pretty impressive. But the trail navigation for this day, pretty straightforward. Other than the wind, it wasn't that bad. The wind on the ridge was kind of like made all of my mic shots unnecessary or unusable. So you might have you can notice in my film when the noise just goes away. It's because of the wind. The wind is such a problem for me. I don't know if I should get a bigger microphone or something, switch it up. I just don't remember it always being like as much of an issue as it is now. But yeah, like I mentioned, so silly for us to be sleeping so close to each other in this little clearing. I should have gone somewhere else. I don't think anyone would have bothered me. Yeah, I'm like feet away from the other people. And it also wasn't flat. Like this was the flattest spot left. And I was definitely on a slope. First time having just a normal hoodie on a hike. I got some local Brazilian coffee in these little, to-go bag things, which is always nice. Best way to do coffee, in my opinion. And yes, I'm drinking coffee at 8 o'clock. I'm tired. But I think I shot most of this fine. I probably could have done the drone shots up here a little better. But I'm kind of disappointed in how I did this transition through the night. So I went to bed at like 8 at sunset. And then I think we woke up at 4. So only like 6 hours, 6, 7, whatever hours of sleep. And it's not really apparent that this is like later. I'm kind of lazy when it comes to nighttime shots because once I get in my tent, I just want to go to sleep and not bother with anything. And if it's kind of pitch black, it's almost impossible to show anything. So yeah, I'm a little disappointed. Like I don't know if there were stars. I just don't do time lapses. So yeah, just showing these other people hiking was like the best I could do. But even like the focus is off. I don't know. This was weird. But let me tell you, it was difficult hiking in the pitch dark with just the torch. I definitely got lost. Let me see if I can see it on the all trails. I guarantee you can see the chaos that morning a little bit. It might be tough because I had to double back, so it might be a little over. Yeah, all right, so 3D All Trails satellite. Here's the rocks, here's the campsite. Here's the tent clearing. I found another clearing up here. I feel like I should have slept here. I would have had it all to myself, but I don't know if that was frowned upon. So the next morning, pitch dark, just with my headlamp, had to go down some pretty steep, rocky sections. And this isn't bad. Okay, it gets a little worse right here. You can kind of see me zigzagging a little bit, but it's not. Yeah, I went the wrong way here a little bit. You can see that. Yeah, I was zigzagging off trail a little bit just because I was getting lost because it was dark. But then by the time around here, there started to be some light coming up over the horizon. So I had some kind of context, but yeah, it kind of sucked. It was very wet, dewy from the night, moisture falling. You're brushing up against tons of plants. You're kind of getting lost. Some of the rock surfaces are like slippery. But But by the time I got down here, it was definitely bright enough for me to be more confident. And I know... No, there was no good way to get up here from where I was down here. Because there's kind of like a little bit of a canyon here. There's a massive canyon here. So yeah, this is the Port of Hercules. And this is like the main reason why you go on this hike, I guess, to get this view. And I don't usually get up early for sunrise stuff, but this was definitely worth it. For me, staying static as the time and light changes is a little awkward because you're kind of shooting the same thing over and over and over again with different lighting. And that's a little weird to shoot. Because like I had the same shot of me standing here with this silhouette like 4 or 5 times. Like you can see. So I had one that I didn't use of me here at the crack of dawn. And then I have another one of the sun up. And then I have another one of the same shot with it all blue with the sun higher. So it's like the same spot, the same shot, just different time of day, different light. So it's like kind of redundant, but I get it. Like I was just trying to get the best thumbnail. In an eggshell, these hikes are just a behind the scenes for how I get a single shot, a single thumbnail, the thumbnail for the video. So it's like, what do I do to get to this spot? And then how do I leave and get back home? You know, it's a behind the scenes for this single Instagram shot at its most basic. I like this shot. I don't know why. The water tastes better when it's coming off a leaf like that. It's clean. There are no animals. I will say that. It was, you know, protected area. There were no animals. There were no farms. There's no cow dung. There's no sheep. So that's a little different than what I'm used to. I'm either hiking in farmland or like pristine, beautiful, crazy jungle mountain ranges. Yeah, the two differences are crazy, profound. But yeah, it's not as fun going down to come back up, but it was definitely worth it to get to that spot. Because yeah, it was pretty wild with the sun coming up behind all of these. So I guess these are the mountains that I saw. What is this? There's probably some hiking here. Looks cool. Okay, so I continued up and the clouds rolled in. A lot more clouds than I expected. It was very billowy. Yeah, a lot of clouds. A lot of it was like there's an opening, the sun shines, and I throw my drone up real quick just because like I see an opening. Like going straight up the mountain like this while flying my drone one-handed, while holding my camera. Just to get an opening, like, because it's just cloudy. Oh, it's clear. Get the shot. So it was like that for the rest of the day, kind of. And like this just cleared up. So I'm like, okay, get this shot real quick. But even this is redundant. Like this is kind of the same shot as this shot. So not the best filmmaking. You can tell I was sick. I was tired. I was over it. I kind of wanted to leave at this point. The filmmaking goes off a cliff from this point on in the video. And I think, you know, I'm disappointed in myself for going all the way out there to Brazil to kind of half-ass like this endeavor that I committed to. But I was legit sick, like my nose and throat. Let's talk about these. This was a wild section. A lot of hikes have ladder sections and whatever you call this, chains or whatever, steps. This shot doesn't do it justice. Like this is skipped. I think I have an Instagram story for this. Yeah, 4 a.m. start to see the sunrise. Hold on. This is going too hard. Here, let's switch it over. So no photo ever does it justice, but legit some rock climbing moments on this trail. Once again, I should have shot more of this spot, but I just didn't. I had like one overexposed shot. Wasn't good. And then that spot, missing steps, no problem. Wait, the steps break sometimes. 3 points of contact. Yeah, I was exhausted by the time I reached the top of this, and I tried to imagine like other hikers doing this. It's just wild. And even like these sections were difficult for me. So I picture some lesser experienced hikers hitting this section and just being like, what? What? And hiking in Brazil in an eggshell, you're getting hit with these wet, sharp leaves all the time. Oh no. Maybe you can hear Dean. How are you doing? Should I stop? You're okay for now? Yeah, I'll try to wrap up soon. Okay. Father, dad responsibilities coming soon. I'll try to wrap it up. Flying back home. Yeah, so oh baby. Sweet baby. I planned on I hit this hut, and then I planned on doing this section over here. I think because it would give me more views, but it might have been more difficult to do in some way. Honestly, looking at it now, I should have just done it. But I think I took the like easier trail because it's more switchbacks and more groomed, maybe. But by the time I hit this area, there were a ton of day hikers coming up from the city. And yeah, I just booked it down, put on some music and just hightailed it out, which I regret. And then I had a plan on coming to this spot to get a drone shot of the city. And I just skipped that. I actually ran into a park ranger who was super nice and took me into town with his car. Once again, amazing Brazilians, super friendly. Oh, okay. Here, let me... The green screen is whacking out. Let me throw on this light. It was a tough trip, I'm going to be honest. I'm disappointed I didn't get the travel stuff I wanted to get in the first place. The hiking video is kind of half-assed, a day and a half of hiking, so it wasn't even like there wasn't that much to shoot, and I didn't even fully commit to it. So it's better than nothing, but it should have been better. Yeah. The Brazilians are calling out that park. Yes. Hiking in southeast Brazil. Yeah, I could have titled the... Where is it? My plan was to title... I might switch the title back to this. Solo hiking, Traversia, Petropolis, and Teresópolis in Brazil. But I ended up with just hiking alone in Brazil because that's easier for someone who doesn't know me to understand what the video is about. But I could change it to be more SEO based, people actually searching for that hike. But I'm in no rush to do so. Yeah. Let's turn this up a little bit. Switch the vibe up. Yes. Well, just come back again when you're healthy and you're welcome. Yeah. Can we get a Dean reveal? Just on Instagram stories, we're getting to that. Yeah, when the baby calls. Yes. Okay, let's wrap up the stories. The coffee connecting in the Colombian airport, fantastic. Totally worth. So coming back to peak springtime in Brooklyn was fantastic. And because my wife was extremely pregnant, I wasn't going to be doing much for a little bit. No more international trips until September, which is, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, what was this? May? May is such a beautiful time to be in Brooklyn. So happy to be there. I was bummed about missing October and November, November in Brooklyn last year because I was in New Zealand for so long. But being here for spring was great. So we went to the botanical garden. I've been there so many times. Nothing better than walking around, drinking coffee, eating cinnamon buns. A lot of my friends got a kick out of this goodbye minimalism, hello baby stuff photo. Because, yeah, it's been such a huge change. You know, there's more to talk about on this subject, but... Getting married, having a dog, and having a baby will destroy minimalism. And I know Matt Diavella made a video, blah, 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 but yeah, there's no getting around it. Because I used to live out of a backpack and travel, and I used to live so differently, but I'm happier now. I'm not gonna complain. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's different, you know. So much baby stuff. And we've gotten so much more since when I shot this photo. Sasha with her stick, nothing better. Challenger's Grand Premiere. So you might remember that Everest Base Camp trip that I went on was alongside a reality TV show shoot. We were hiking with a group of like international vloggers and YouTubers, and we were hiking to Everest Base Camp in Nepal, but then there was also like a crew of 50, 60 people shooting this reality TV show. So that was finally premiering on Amazon and at this movie theater in Times Square. So that was kind of funny to like prepare for because I didn't know what to expect. Running on Strava a ton. It's always been great. Walking around Brooklyn, Prospect Park, nothing better. Off-leash dog hours. So pleasant in May. Sasha's loving the new roommate, yeah. And then went to the last trip that I did before baby was a quick trip, like legit 36 hours in LA and back for the Strava yearly event. Got to hang out with some friends there. I got to meet and make some new friends. It's kind of silly, but also kind of fun to be involved with this community, to get more into running, to get more into cycling and talking to other athletes and like seeing people who are professional racers, like making their full-time income from running races and stuff. It's kind of wild. And then talking to brands and learning more about what they're looking for as far as outdoor creators and stuff. The Brooklyn Half Marathon, right outside my doorstep, always fun to see. Sasha on the roof, just kind of waiting for baby. Just love where I live. So cool, so fun. Running with Jeremy. Pregnancy craving, eating so much watermelon. Speaking of Hannah, she visited New York with Chris, got to hang out. Sasha got to meet. And then there was the premiere with Will and Juan for the Challenger show. Shooting some stuff for that. Will wanted to see and eat stuff around New York, which was funny. It's always funny when non-New Yorkers come in to visit and they ask for recommendations and, you know, hearing what they envision their trip to New York, like first timers, like where they want to eat, what they want to see. Like, do they want to go to Dumbo or Times Square or, I don't know, go to 30 Rock? Yeah, so then the premiere happened. Silly little thing. So funny doing stuff like this. It's very awkward for me. Not my cup of tea, but we did it. You can watch it on Amazon. It's kind of funny. Did more photo opportunities, and then that was done. Got to hang out with Hannah and Chris from Japan. A couple more times in Brooklyn. Say goodbye. Mika is very pregnant. Sasha sometimes giving me the devil stare. She's very protective of Mika, which is funny. Running more, trying to get in one last big run before the baby comes. It was kind of just staying at home and just kind of waiting till it happened because she was 39 weeks. Watching the Mummy movies. We watched all 4 of them in the last couple, in the weeks. Because I just got a craving for Brendan Fraser and the Mummy movies. We watched Scorpion King as well, for those who don't know. And then finally happened. Yay. My son, Dean Aviv Adams, was born. Healthy baby boy. Couldn't be prouder. Mika did so well. Sasha is so sweet with baby. It's been a chaotic 3 weeks. Anyone with a newborn, anyone with children will know kind of what it's been like for us, what it is still like. And I need to leave soon. That's why I'm rushing. I need to be a good dad, good wife. Mika finally had raw fish. I slept in my Hyperlight for a power nap right before the delivery when I could. Getting Sasha her exercise on the roof. So cute when she plays with other babies, other puppies. But yeah, just dad things. Watching Gordon Ramsay while we eat lunch between feedings and naps for Dean. Slowly taking Dean on the roof, out for walks in the baby Bjorn. I think I'm going to take him to the park on like his first long walk soon, but it's been very hot. It'll be a hot summer for him. Had this reel go kind of wild on Instagram talking about the silent video that I made. So it's been interesting having like other creators talk to me about that. Went to a quick little salary Transparency Street Published Press event. It's funny like doing social little creator events and getting to see friends like Jordan and Jeremy. It's always nice. That was like a House of the Dragon promotion on the tower or something. I don't know. But then I posted the video. Brazilians went crazy. I made a reel for Brooks running shoes. Did all the sponsored posts for that. Started to take the baby out more. I love when people post them watching the videos in different areas, especially when cats or dogs are involved. So thank you for that. And then I scheduled the stream, messed up the stream, and now we're here. Okay. There's definitely more to talk about, but it has been, it's been over 2 hours. There's probably more to talk about for Brazil, but I feel like I talked about it enough. And Thoughts After Hiking Alone in Brazil is a good name for this video. I think it could be helpful for people, especially just like to check out the All Trails links if they want to follow in my footsteps. And of course, leave comments below if you have any other questions. I will definitely check those out and try to answer as much as I can. You guys watching this video are the subs that I really care about, and people watching this after the live stream who couldn't tune in, who are watching the archive, podcast fans, you know, people who have been following the Craig updates, the Craig news, not just the silent hiking trip stuff, are the people that I want to connect with. So let me know who you are. Let me know how I can make these better, what you're interested in, what you're not. I definitely want to find a way to get the old vibe of the Craig Adams solo rant podcast updates, but in this live format, and use all of the good aspects of the feedback here in chat. I want to hopefully try to get some voice guests on. Y'all are creators or other things. I want to add visual context to the things that I'm talking about. That's why I think the Instagram stories is a good way to do it. Even though most of it is just like Sasha, my dog. Yeah. And I did have some notes for like other things, like ideas that I wanted to talk about. And I didn't talk about like the future hikes. So probably the next stream for sure. But yes, thank you for hanging out, for supporting me, for caring and making me feel a little bit better.